Hi guys, have you ever wanted to hunt and kill your own food? This is a sense of accomplishment from start to finish to go out and kill your own food and hunt it, which takes a certain skill, and then skin it, butcher it, cook it, all in one foul swoop and put it on the table for your family, which is pretty cool. So, hunting is not only done for recreational reasons, but it's also to remove predators that are dangerous to humans or domesticated animals, which is like dogs and cats and things like that. It just controls the environment, which is great because if we didn't hunt, there would be a ton of deer running around, a ton of bears. It controls the environment and it's survival of the fittest. So hunter and gatherers are considered a microculture for many reasons. To start, they have specific beliefs, unlike other microcultures in some instances. Most hunter and gatherers do not believe in food production. So food production is, using a ton of chemicals to produce a ton of food like apples, oranges, bananas, food productions where 1 million cows and pigs go to these plants and they all get killed with no skill involved. I know that is necessary to feed everyone today, but a lot of hunters don't believe in food production because they believe that hunters should go out and kill their own food from start to finish. Humans have been in existence for 10 million years. Hunting has been around for that whole time, because humans had to eat. It was instinct. The past 10,000 years, food production has been prominent. So before those 10,000 years that food production has been dominant, everyone else was hunting and killing their own food, which is pretty crazy to think about. That's just food for thought right there, no pun included. Hunter and gatherers value animals and have respect for animals, so they don't believe in animal cruelty. They believe in killing the animal in one shot. No one wants to see an animal suffer, they don't believe in animal cruelty, and they also believe in using all parts of the animals. So, they use the skin for something, and then they use the meat and the bones. Everything has a use, and it makes less waste as well. Hunting attracts hunting groups, friends, or hunting clubs you can be a part of. It may attract people with a gun license and people that want to learn more about hunting. Also, they attract hunters, hunters attract people with hunting license, like I said before, but there's also big game and small game. So big game is larger animals such as like lions, rams, stuff like that, things you would find in Africa, I guess you could say. Small game is more like deer, squirrels, goose, birds, stuff like that, but you need a license for each. And you need a license for a buck, and then girl deers. I don't know why I can't think of the name, but you need license for all of them, and you need to know how to hunt them. Each animal is different how to hunt, so you have to have a certain set of skills. Some genetic characteristics of hunters may be that they have a steady hand for shooting. You need a steady hand, and you need good eyesight, but obviously some people wear glasses and some people wear contacts, so it's all good. Patterns of communication. Regarding the hunting microculture, there's a language called Chickasaw. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right, but I've heard of it, being a hunter myself, but I don't use it. They argue that it's dead. That a lot of people not use it. I think this was more prominent, during early hunting, how to communicate and things like that. The Indians used it as well, so I don't use it, but there's a lot of sayings that hunters use and a lot of phrases, just to name a few. There's a phrase called angling. That is the sport of catching a fish. So it's also called fishing. And then to bag, to catch and kill an animal that you're hunting. So basically, in one foul swoop, you see a buck or a deer, and you see it and you hunt it and you kill it. So it's in one swoop. And then big game, like I said before, it's large wild animals such as lions or very big animals that you would not see every day. So not like a deer, not like a bear, things like that. And they do that for our sport, big game. Closed season is the period of time when it is illegal for people to kill animals or fish. So this is the months from, the summer months when animals are reproducing, and there's a lot of baby animals. So obviously people do not want, people killing baby animals. That's just inhumane. And then in full cry, I like this one personally. If a group of dogs hunting an animal are in full cry, they are chasing it in a very enthusiastic way. So in some cases, people like to hunt with their dogs. A lot of people do actually with birds and things like that, not necessarily deer, because dogs scare deer away usually. But with like golden retrievers or beagles, a lot of people use those types of dogs and go retrieve the animal that you just killed, or they're chasing it. It all depends on the situation, but I think it's really cool how dogs are very enthusiastic when chasing an animal or even going to retrieve that dead animal that you just killed. These are just a few terms that people use. There's phrases being added all the time. People use them. Like I said, that language might be dead, so that was used previously. Behaviors of hunters would be to always practice safety. You're using a very dangerous weapon. You're using a gun most of the times, or a bow and arrow with a very sharp tip. So you obviously want to always practice safety rules, and you want to know your gun or your bow and arrow, and always take your regular safety classes regarding hunting and shooting. Every hunter has to go through a class every few years, and to make sure everyone's up to speed on the safety rules and things like that. Another behavior that hunters may use is to be a good neighbor. You're going to come across a lot of private properties and that are really good for hunting. There's probably a lot of deer that needs to be hunted back there. So you always want to make sure that you ask the homeowner and make sure that it's okay with them first before you go back there, because it's a big fine and it's illegal. So as long as you aren't trespassing and you make sure it's okay with the homeowner, then you're good to go. Prevalence of microculture. So as I mentioned before, hunting has been around for 2 million years. Archaeologists have found remains of animal bones and thousands of stone tools used by ancient humans. So, think about 2 million years ago. There was no things as guns, no things as bow and arrows. So people were literally using rocks and stones to kill these animals and hunt them, because that was instinct, because people were hungry. People had to survive. And here we are today, so we did survive. These humans millions of years ago were hunting, like I said, hunting to survive. It was instinct. Now that we as humans are more civilized and have the pleasure of food production and privilege, I should say, hunting is more of a sport. A lot of people do it as a sport, but some people take it very seriously and only hunt, and grow their own food and things like that. People still eat all their meat that they hunt, and they save it in the freezer. One deer, a big sized deer, could last a few weeks as long as you freeze it and do everything necessary. Not many humans hunt nowadays. In at least America, only 10% of Americans hunt, which is a small number if you really think about it. But it's a skill. A lot of people don't like it. Some people think it's animal cruelty, but personally, if you do it respectfully and things like that, it's really not inhumane, because we've been doing it for 2 million years. Some facts about hunting. According to research, 72% more women are hunting with firearms today than just 5 years ago. 50% more women are now target shooting. Target shooting is when you basically are shooting a gun or a bow and arrow to a target. Now, all hunters should target shoot before going out and shooting, so you know your gun, you know your weapon, you know your bow and arrow, you know how to use it, and you know you have the practice to target shoot, basically. It's different with a moving animal, but at least you have some of that practice. And I think it's awesome that women are learning how to hunt because, it's cool to see a girl hunt. Hunters and fishers support more than 600,000 U.S. jobs, which is awesome. When tallying up the various fees, licensing, and taxes hunters raise, about $1.6 billion for the United States, which is really cool. Organic eating. Now, organic eating is very prominent. A lot of people don't like using regular foods. They use pesticides, chemicals. It's not good for your body. So hunting is actually the most organic way of eating. Research suggests that the most organic types of eating is hunting and killing your own meal, which is really cool. It conserves hunting conserves wildlife. Deer are overpopulated in most areas and cause car accidents and sometimes death. I know where I live, there's a ton of deer at night and during the morning. It's dangerous. They run out in front of your car and they cause a lot of damage. My friend actually just hit a deer and her car had a lot of damage. It could be a lot worse, but it's good to conserve wildlife. Also, in some states they allow bear hunting. So there's a lot of bears in New Jersey, believe it or not, and there's still people that hunt bears because bears are dangerous. If you have a small animal outside or, kids running around and a bear comes through, that could be very dangerous. So, it's good to control the wildlife, and, if we didn't hunt, there would be a ton of deer running around. There would be a ton of bears running around. It's good to conserve, the wildlife, and it's survival of the fittest, which we all know, we all learned about. So as you can see, this information has determined hunting as a microculture. It takes a certain set of skills. We have our own behaviors. We have our own, genetic things that we go through. So, it's a really cool thing. And if you don't hunt, you should check it out. If you have an interest, you could always target shoot. That's cool. Everybody has their own hobby and things that they're good at. So if you want, check it out. This is a microculture that I'm part of and I enjoy. So I consider myself part of this community. Thank you for watching.